Isn't that terrible? It's cold. That's what the deal is. Yeah. Seniors are being here. Yeah. Introduction. I like your hair. I'll talk. So, yeah. Yeah. I have researched out at the bias. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they were. Probably only about. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm just saying. Can we have a round of applause for Maggie and her hand? She is offering us special music today about prelude, and then she's going to do a postlude as well. And it sounds like it's happier. She said it was mad at her because I got left out in the heat. I'm like, I understand. Welcome. My name is Stevie Blank, and we welcome you to Unity Center of Des Moines. If you're new here, haven't been here before, or maybe you're new online, know that we are a diverse community that is committed to living a positive spiritual path. We welcome you just as you are and recognize that each person is on their own unique spiritual journey. If you didn't notice, if you're here in person, there is a little welcome packet and a little feedback form. If you want to grab one of those, there's also free hug buttons if that calls to you. And anything out on that first table is to grab and get more information about who we are, what we do, and you can learn more about us at our website, unitydesmoines.com, all the events and the calendar and all that stuff. And then unity.org talks more about the parent group in Kansas City. So without further ado, let's open with song. The lyrics are going to be up on screen. If you are so moved, we love it when people sing along, and Trinity and Deb are going to lead us. Thank you. Can we get a round of applause for the music team? We are so grateful that not Tiffany, Trinity volunteered to help us with song. All right, so announcements. The painting is done. We have new downspouts. We have new gutters, and it was just in time for the torrential downpours that we have had. It's extremely grateful that all got done in time. So thank you, Spirit, for making that all come together. I'm looking for my announcement sheet. Here we go. So saving the date, we have a couple dates coming up. The first one being July 13th, just a couple weeks from now. It's a potluck, so if you could bring something to share, we'll all share a meal together. And then want to have a community manifesting conversation. There are definitely things around here. If you are a person who's looking for some way to use your gifts to make a difference, or maybe you think you don't have gifts, I guarantee you do. Let's find those and let's have them show up in a way that serves the community. And by doing that, you're also serving yourself and your divine within. We got stuff. And we're not going to ask anyone to do anything that doesn't feel right in every essence of their being. We're not going to pressure or anything like that. But there are definitely things that can be done. Randy's waving at me. Why?
And one of those things that can be done is you can learn how to run sound. So after the potluck, we'll bring some people up here and we'll show you how it's done.
I love that. Thank you, Randy. Yes, that is true. It is. Yes, you can learn sound. What? Yes. Thank you for that plug.
I have off-Broadway experience. I know how to do it.
Yes, you do, and you don't need a microphone. Yes. Celebrations. I celebrated the building. Also celebrating the art festival is going on, and I just had a wonderful time. It's a few blocks from where I live, and I've got to meet some cool artists and just finding out what it's like to just be. It's pretty cool. So I'm celebrating that. Other celebrations, opening it up. You can have the mic, or you can just shout it out. That's you. I know there's stuff.
I celebrated my birthday a couple
Happy birthday, Liz! Yes. There was someone else maybe to say, maybe we can sing happy birthday to Liz at the end then.
Oh.
And there's someone else that I don't, Linda, who's not here right now, but it was Linda Klein's birthday on the 24th.
Celebration.
Yes?
I got invited to meet the Attorney General.
Oh, fantastic. Good for you. No, I mean, good for you. I'm totally teasing. All right, other celebrations.
I'm celebrating all the prayers that I got from you guys, so thank you so much. They helped a lot and it's doing much better today. So,
Wonderful. The power of prayer. Side note, prayer is one of the things that can be done to help community. And whenever we, channel that divinity within ourselves and send it out to other people, we're also receiving some of that energy. So if you're thinking like, oh, I don't have anything special, you can always pray. You can always tune into that and make a huge difference in people's lives. I felt the prayers too, and it makes a difference. Yeah.
Thank
Yes, thank you for sharing that celebration.
you. I have one more.
Yes,
I also went to the arts festival on Friday and spent 7 hours there.
fantastic.
And you're still walking.
And you didn't die.
I did not. Yeah.
That's good. That's something my son says. When he does something hard. I miss him. I'm gonna celebrate that, my son is on the road and doing well and very happy somewhere in Virginia. But I do miss him a bit. So hands on if you're watching, I love you. Okay, I guess,
I have been doing a lot of festivals lately and knowing and figuring and finding out my place and how to stand up for my own voice.
nice, that's a great thing to celebrate, finding, using your voice, yes, round of applause. Okay, usually there would be a common thread meeting on Thursday, but they are postponing, they're not having a July meeting, but they will resume in August. The first Thursday in August will be common thread back on. We have special events starting today. The Ignite Your Inner Fire 90-minute sound bath with Melody Polanski and Deb Jennings is gonna be right here in the sanctuary at 4 p.m. Then we have a special shaman from Peru that is visiting our area by the name of Jorge. And there's two opportunities to hear what he has to offer, his sound medicine. Once on Friday, July 4th, and then on Sunday, July 6th, he's going to be with Deb Jennings here in the sanctuary. So all those details are on the calendar and the website and the newsletter. So all of that. PS, if you're not getting the newsletter, that little feedback form in the entryway, you can write your email down and get on that email list. We just send out one a week. Our usual events, other than Common Thread, are back on full swing, and you can learn all about those on our website, unitydesmoines.com. Are there any other announcements that I either didn't mention or didn't know about? Okay, fantastic. Let's I'm on the wrong page in my notebook, hold on. Let's do the statement of faith that'll be up on the screen. Let's say it all together. There is only one power active in my life and in the universe, the divine source of life and love. Next, the unity affirmation, if we could say this together, and if you feel good about it, uncross your hands and feet. Just settle into your chair and feel the oneness that connects us all. Unity of Des Moines is a radiating center of the divine light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. And with that spirit of oneness, I have a list of people to send our love and our prayers to. Whatever it is that you need to settle into your chair and tune into that divine frequency within you. Kim, Misha, Amy, Amanda, Ryan, Dylan, Christina, Paul, Luke, Jotsana, Amy, Tom, Ada, Scott, Celine, Jimmy, Lindsay, Denise, Karen, Katie, Steve, Rob, Jenny, Marty, Matt, Brittany, Jerry, Jessica, Alexander, Michelle, Marilyn, Eric, Jimmy, Angie, Devin, Jody, Sarah and family, Holly, Jeanette Marie, Paul and Phyllis, Christina, Seal, and people with struggles we know nothing about. Now for our time of meditation, go ahead and relax into the chair that you are sitting in. Try to support you fully. Come to the center of your being and focus your awareness there. And then breathe in and out, slowing your breath down. With this next inhalation, breathe in peace, calm, and relaxation. And let go of anything that no longer serves you on your out breath. And then breathe in unconditional love for yourself. And breathe out gratitude for this time to be with community today. Allow your heart to soften and open. And know and trust that you are in the flow of divine guidance at all times for your highest good. Open to receiving that guidance. Allowing grace to flow. Trusting. And as we go into the silence, find comfort there. Find peace there. Find grace there. And find love there in the silence. And as you gently bring your awareness back, give thanks for any guidance you may have received in the silence. Remain open to guidance throughout your day and through your dream time tonight. And feeling balanced, aligned, centered, and grounded, become fully aware of your surroundings once again. And live from your heart today. And with an open heart, listen to the daily word taken from Genesis 32, chapter 32, verse 26, which says, "Then he said, 'Let me go, for the day is breaking.' But Jacob said, 'I will not let you go unless you bless me.'" Although any experience can be seen as a gift, bringing new insight or deeper understanding, it may be hard to appreciate at first. When I struggle to release a painful memory, I can open my mind and heart to better receive the gift of experience. For instance, learning why a relationship ended shows me where I can grow in understanding and empathy. Feeling the unconditional love of God, I forgive my past weaknesses and make amends where I can. When I recognize that holding on to resentment hurts only me, I can more easily release it and forgive. Blessed by the power of release and grateful for the power of divine within, I move forward, ready to live and love fully again. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once and then if we can all say it together, is this. I release and move forward with a grateful heart. I release and move forward with a grateful heart. All right, let's have another song. This one may be familiar. It is Amazing Grace. Please sing along if you are so moved.
Grace, grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I was once lost, but now I'm found. Blind, but now I see. Was raised taught my heart to sing, and grace my feet. How precious did that grace appear. Many dangerous storms and snares I have this grace that brought me safe of freedom that we have.
Thank you so much, Kennedy and Deb. And what a beautiful segue into our talk this morning, presented by our very own Alana Anderson. And she's gonna have a topic of the grace in every decision. Please welcome Alana Anderson.
Yeah.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say thank you, because there's really no part of me that ever walked through the first time I walked through those doors that thought I would ever be doing this. So I'm going to talk to you about the grace in every decision. And the topic came up when I was having dinner with a friend. And she was upset about something that had happened, and upset about the fact that she didn't use her intuition, and that she knew better, that she shouldn't have done it, but she did it anyway. And as I was listening to her, I thought, we all do that. That's just part of it's part of being human. But I listened to her, and it kept running through my head the times when I didn't use my intuition. And I looked at her and said, sometimes you make the right decision, and sometimes you have to make the decision right.
Yeah.
Because we don't always make the right decision, or we realize it's wrong after the fact. There's just no guarantees. And the fact is, life is not a success-only journey.
Yeah.
And
Amen to that.
wouldn't that be nice? It would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? So, and the mistakes that happen may not necessarily be mistakes. I mean, we might interpret them as a mistake because it doesn't, so we didn't get the outcome that we thought we were going to get. But it may not be that. Maybe that was the outcome that was supposed to happen, and not necessarily just because it didn't meet your expectations. Maybe that wasn't wrong. So, and here's the thing, like, we're always guided by spirit. But that guidance doesn't always show up as a lightning bolt or a loud voice telling us what to do. Sometimes that guidance is a whisper. And sometimes that guidance, you don't hear it at all. And sometimes you're just given the opportunity to make a choice. Even if our choices take us through pain, confusion, and years of unraveling. So I'm gonna share with you the story that I shared with my friend about um, a major, a pivotal point in my life where I did not listen to my intuition. And it took me down a road that was epic in many ways. Um, so many years ago, I was engaged and in the process of planning the wedding and doing all the things. And one morning, something happened that was very upsetting. And I get to work, and I was trying to console myself while I was in my car driving. I get to work, and all of a sudden get hit with all these emotions and trying not to ugly cry because I'm in a cubicle. And I start bawling. And through that realization, I realized that um I shouldn't get married. That don't do it. And so as I was standing there or sitting there, like trying to process my emotions and justify my decision, um, I decided, never mind, it'll be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get married. And it was one of those things that the thing that I realized about myself now that I didn't realize then is that when I start telling myself that it'll be fine, it's because I'm going to do something to make it fine, or at least I'm going to try. Um, and so that is always my go-to. It's like, nope, it'll be fine. And then I just move forward and then see what happens. That's good, both good and bad. But through this, I knew it wasn't right. And I knew I shouldn't keep going forward, but I did. And then another incident happened where the same thing came up, the same issue. But this time it was months down the road. I had continued wedding planning. I was spending money on deposits. I was doing all of the things that you do, the dress, the gas, the cake, the car, all the things. I was doing it. And if I call off the wedding now, I'm going to lose my deposit. Like, because that's a very logical, like ruin your life or lose a deposit. Dude. you know, I was not able, I didn't process it like that. And I also never talked to anyone about what I was, my trepidations, because there's a very good possibility that if I had talked to anybody, they would have said, don't do it. And while I knew I shouldn't do it, I was going to do it. And the other thing that came up for me was that if I cancel this wedding, not only am I losing the deposits, but and all the things that have gone with it, but people would be disappointed in me.
Oh.
What and I would not disappoint someone because that's not okay. And it was okay for me to be disappointed. It was okay for me to have hurt and be in pain and not get what I needed, as long as I was giving it to everybody else. And that's how I functioned through so much of my life. And that is also what allowed me to make this decision and go forward with the wedding. So even in my knowing, standing at the front of the church, knowing that we were lying to ourselves and everybody else, because all of the vows, love, honor, cherish, blah blah, that wasn't happening before I got married, and it certainly didn't happen afterwards. So like we started as a one gigantic expensive lie. But that's how it went. So I endured 11 years of emotional and financial abuse because I am a people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
But I am a people pleaser. Even today, I can still step back in that role with great ease.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something that really, once it becomes part of you, it's hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
And it's kind of traumatic in some ways. And I say that maybe traumatic is like maybe too big of a word for that, but because it causes you to sacrifice yourself. You sacrifice who you are, who you could be, who you might be, because you're doing it for someone else. People pleasing is really not about the other person, it's about you. You're doing it for your own comfort, not because it's not this like gift. It's actually a form of being disingenuous, and you're being disingenuous to yourself.
Yeah.
But during that time, I did not understand that. I did not feel it. I can honestly say I probably didn't even understand the term people pleasing.
Right.
Because there was so much growth and so much, well, no. There was growth, but the growth came after the fact. But it was chaos and disappointment and every other negative term you could probably come up with, it was involved in this. And going back to this whole concept of sometimes you make the right decision and sometimes you make the decision right, I realized I had to get busy making the right decision. And back to my famous, it'll be fine. Because now I have to make it fine. And I didn't know how I was going to do that, other than the fact that, yes, I had to get a divorce, but I didn't know what that meant, like in terms of how it would impact my life. But I was about to find out. And honestly, that was the best decision I've ever made in the history of the world. But that's a story for another time. So, when you realize, and so I was sharing the story with my friend, and it did kind of become comical because the comparison, like what she was going through and what I was going through was, I mean, not quite the same. But it was very it was important because it takes you back to the idea that we use our intuition. That's all we have is our intuition, but you don't always hear it. You don't always, or you think you're following it and you're not. Or the impact of your decision is not what you thought it was going to be. And the one thing I recognized after I went through all of this was never betray yourself for someone else's comfort.
Oh, come on.
And that's what I did. Not following my intuition was a betrayal to myself.
Yeah.
And I was so concerned about everybody around me. And I didn't realize like a lifetime of misery, like what that meant. Like I just knew, like I had this kind of Pollyanna thought that, oh, and I'll just get married. And once I get married, everything will be fine. And that's not how it works. That is not how it works. If any of you are considering this, if it's bad before, it will be bad during and after. Like, just throw that out there for anyone. But there's nothing selfish about meeting your own needs. And because you're all you have. No one else can meet your needs for you.
Yeah.
No one else is going to be there for you. At the end of the day, it's just you. And when I was little, my mom used to say to me, "Who's the only person that's never going to leave you?"
You.
And in my like 4 or 5-year-old self, I said, "You?" And she said, "No, you." And she started drilling that into me at a very young age, but you don't like that. never came into play during this whole epic decision making or anything like that. But I understand that so much more today based on my experiences. And maybe I had to have those experiences in order to make that make sense. Because ultimately, not loving yourself is a betrayal um to yourself. And self-love is the best love because you can't give from an empty tank. And as I was going through this and my marriage was getting worse and worse by the day, I didn't, not only did I not recognize myself, but I didn't recognize love in any way for myself or anybody else. But I did know I was supposed to be doing, I was playing a role and I was doing what was expected of me. And because I was living for other people, I wasn't living for myself. I was just going through the emotions. I wasn't even having emotions. I was just on autopilot because that's what you're supposed to do. We're conditioned in society to um, take the steps, like the path to success. You go to school, you go to college, you get married, have 2.3 kids and a dog, a house with a white picket fence, and that's success. And that's what matters. So if you follow that script, you're gonna be successful. But if any part of that doesn't turn out, you're not successful. If you get married and you decide that that's not gonna work and you get divorced, in my mind, I thought everyone was gonna look down on me for doing this. And I spent so many years in misery when honestly, because I was married for 11 years, but in year 2, I knew I needed to get out. I didn't. I endured many more years because I was paralyzed with fear of what everybody else was going to think. And I didn't love myself. Because if I did, I would have recognized it way long ago. I would have not got married. I would not have cared about the deposits. I would have chosen myself. And I didn't. But, life leaves clues. And now I had to do something very different. And the interesting thing is that I didn't make the right choice. But the choice made me. The choice made me who I am today. That choice is why I am standing here. Not necessarily here, but in this time space reality. That choice is what propelled me to make changes in my life and to figure out who I am, who I want to be, and start loving myself. First and foremost. And for that, I look back and say, maybe I had to have that experience in order to have this one. While it would not have been my first choice.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have even been a second choice, but it happened. And I am grateful for a lot of things because I am in that place now where I can look back and know that that's in the past. And the funny thing is, as I was going through this in my head and I was writing this stuff down, there's a part of me that I remember my response in terms of going through with this marriage, but I didn't remember the specific things that caused me not to do it or to think I didn't want to do it. And there's that part of me, I'm really kind of happy about that because that means it's so far in the past that it's a distant memory. But I would kind of like to understand just for some of the details because some of it doesn't make sense to me. But I don't remember, and that's okay. I'm not supposed to. And I actually thought as I was going through this that I would, that it would pop back into my head, and it hasn't. So again, a little win, I guess. But because Spirit walks with us through every detour, every delay, and every painful turn, it doesn't leave us. Grace never leaves us. And that's how we know we're always making the right decision. That's how we know we're listening to our intuition. Oftentimes it's your perception of what should have been and what shouldn't have been.
Yes. Yep.
Not necessarily that it was bad.
Yep.
So I'm going to read this quote. And every time I have read it, it's kind of got me a little emotional. So I'm going to try and get through this. Intuition is your soul whispering the truth to your heart. The reason you have a hard time trusting your intuition is because you are still convinced that some outside authority still knows better than you.
Yeah.
When you disregard your inner voice, you're dismissing the wealth of knowledge that is stored within you. But let me remind you that your intuition is a gift, and it's the best gift ever. It's the best gift that you have. And the thing that over the years that I've come to understand with what I used to refer to as like the worst decision of my life, it wasn't the best decision of my life, but it certainly wasn't the worst because I gained so much from it. And another thing my mom used to say to me was, "There's no reason to make a mistake if you're not going to learn from it." So, guess what? I learned. I learned a lot. But we're not punished for our choices. We're shaped by them. And Spirit is not somewhere far away watching over us from a distance. It's walking beside us through the heartbreak, through the regret, and using every part of our story to bring us back to who we really are. Ultimately, that's what matters. Coming back home to yourself because you're all you have.
Yeah.
So maybe every decision is right. Not because it was perfect, but because it became the path to our truth. And we do everything we can to live in truth as we see it. Now, everybody has an opinion, but it's still our truth. It's our path. It's our decision. And it's our way of loving ourselves and coming back home to ourselves and doing all the things we need to love, honor, and cherish ourselves. So maybe that's what makes the decision right. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much for that heartfelt message, and so glad that you came up here and shared the story. All right, well, if you would like to share your resources with Unity Center of Des Moines, now is your opportunity to do so. Every contribution helps us be able to have the building here and provide all the events that we provide. And whether your contributions are of a financial, spiritual, energetic, or physical level, we want to offer this affirmation.
I am infinitely abundant. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source. And if you're like me and don't carry cash, know that you can also contribute via Venmo or Zelle. And we just are very grateful for whatever you share. Maggie's gonna do special music, right? Yeah. You're up, Maggie. Maggie, thank you so much for sharing the text of us and your handpans for coming to visit as well. I'd like to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth through the people of the Unity Center of Des Moines, and we are grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. So now it's the time of our celebration where you get to tune into yourself and your self-love and ask, how do I want to experience the face of love today? It's a little song that we've been doing at every service. Your options are you can just sit and tune into your higher self. I've practiced singing the song to myself in the mirror and found it very healing. You can also partner up with someone and eye gaze and sing the song to them and have that experience. However you want to experience it, that is your choice and completely up to you. But we're going to now do You Are the Face of Love.
face of love. I hold you in my arms. You are a part of me. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my arms. You are a part of me. The face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my arms. You are a part of me. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. And now we've given that love to ourselves, maybe gazed into someone's eyes and shared that with them. Now we're going to be invited to stand up and look dead as we send out this to the whole world and the whole universe as she guides us through the universal greeting of peace from the Gandhi Foundation.
I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the higher source,
My wisdom flows from the higher source.
and I salute that source in me.
And if I salute that worth,
Let us work together for unity and love.
let us work together for unity and love.
All right, well, let's make a great big circle around the room as we do the closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. We usually hold hands. If you don't want to hold hands, you can put your hands over your heart, and that will give us a sign that we're still connected energetically. The light of the divine surrounds us. The love of the divine enfolds us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine watches over us. Wherever we are, the divine is. And all is well. Yay! All right, couple more names. We got happy birthday to say to Liz and Linda. And after that, there are snacks and refreshments in the community room. There are healing hands and hugs in the back corner. And I need, please, 2 sets of 6 rows in the back and all the rest of the chairs along the wall, because we're gonna have the Ignite Your Inner Fire sound healing later on this afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you next week. Let's sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh, this is so great.